Everyone, welcome to day 3 of Truths We Need When We Are Sideways. I guess I should maybe teach like this, maybe so I'm sideways. Or I guess I could turn the camera side. That would probably be the smartest thing. But anyway, that might be a little bit off kilter for us. So anyway, I want to share with you today's life truth. And again, remember, these are super simple by themselves, but yet when we start coming to the end, I think you'll see how they relate and correlate together and really help to give us a way to communicate this lens shift that we're talking about so that we can see through the right lens and trust God's heart in the midst of whatever we're going through. Now, listen, watch this. This is not the truth, but this is a truth that's pretty significant, and I just reminded myself of it a couple of minutes ago. So, as I'm talking about that, so think about this. When we can trust the heart of God, then we begin to really engage, embrace, and enjoy the process that we're in because we know that it's working for us, it's not working against us. So as we are navigating through this coronavirus and as we are navigating so many new things, and just heard just a couple of minutes ago that schools, I think, in the county they're not going back until like the 24th, I think, of April. So we're navigating some uncharted waters here, and what does that look like for us teaching from home? And with somebody who made an 8 on their ACT test, not an A, or however you make an A, but an 8. Yep. How do you navigate that when you have super smart people in your home besides myself to attempt to teach, and I can teach on like a second grade level. So anyway, thank goodness my wife is a whole lot smarter than myself. So anyway, in the midst of this process, how do we navigate? How do we really contain this perspective, maintain this perspective as we walk through? So I'm sharing some of these truths. So number one, just as a reminder, God has me, God has us, God has this right here, right now within this situation. God has it, man. He is large. He is in charge. He's got it. He's sovereign over it all. Second thing we learned yesterday is there is not one single thing that can touch me that God hasn't either sent or allowed. And if He sends it, then it's working for my good. He sees how that will benefit me in the future. And if He allows it, that's not sent by God. It can be sent by the enemy, but yet God uses that and He turns what the enemy meant for harm for our good. And that's just incredible how God is like doing all that kind of stuff for us. So anyway, that's awesome. So our third truth today, super quick, God is absolutely in control and sovereign over all things. Therefore, I can trust His judgment. And when we look at the scope and the magnitude of all God knows, and that is everything, when He knows everything, and He already sees the end result, as we've already talked about before, the reality is that He places His ultimate judgment that is clearly seen through the lens of an all-knowing God. He places that judgment to allow or not allow or send whatever that is into our lives because there is a, again, unique strategy that He is setting aside for us to learn and discover the things that we would have no way of learning and discovering any other way unless we go through that. So therefore, in the midst of whatever we're in, we have to keep this thought on the forefront of our mind, and that's this: God is absolutely in control. There is nothing that passes by Him that surprises Him, and He knows what is best for His people, sending and allowing the things to teach us what we need to know and understand. That's the beauty of his heart. You know, to know his heart is the goal in all of life. And he allows these circumstances to come into our life. So therefore, watch this. If we set up the wrong goal, we simply live the wrong life. And God knows how to force our attention to him at times where we would choose to go different routes. So, listen, don't trust me. Trust God. He knows exactly what he is doing. And we can trust his judgment to allow something to come into our lives in the midst of these circumstances. Thank you, and I will see you tomorrow for lesson number 4.